Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's team call. It is Tuesday, January 19th, and I am so excited to have Kandace on tonight's call to talk more with you guys about her story and really how she really grew in this business when she started to have belief in herself and herself with the coaching opportunity. I feel like I have been following her since really the beginning. I remember I saw her post back in the old house that I used to live in, which was like in 2014. So I really think I started following you honestly before you were. I feel like you have a lot of followers now. But she is a diamond coach. She was a success starter, and she is a Success Club 10 All-Star. And so with that, I'm just going to hand it over to her, and she's just going to share her story with you, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Hey, thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I totally appreciate it. Super excited. I'm on my phone, so I can't see everybody that's on the call, but thank you guys for being here. I'm flipping through. All right.
Wait, I think did you mute yourself?
Yeah. Okay. Noob.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I've been a coach for about 1.5 years now. Before I was a coach, I worked tons of desk jobs. I felt kind of like stuck. I felt like I was meant for more, but I literally had no idea what. I enjoyed fitness. I didn't know too much about, nutrition and health and stuff. I kind of started seeing, my coach Colleen posting, and I was like, oh, she looks happy. I want that. Like we all do. Like she had this glow about her, and I was just like, wow, that girl is just like, she's shining, and she looks super happy with what she's doing. So also before I was a coach, my husband and I, we didn't live together. Like we were still married, but we worked in separate towns. He got fired or let go from a job that he was at, and it forced him to kind of have to branch out. We had a ton of bills to pay, so he accepted a job out of town that was about 2.5 hours from where I lived. So he left home. Every Sunday night he would leave, so he was gone all week. So I was alone all week, and I would cry at the door, just kind of like watching him leave, like, wow, this really sucks. Like, this is it. This is my life. Like, I'm going to be one of those wives who's home with the kids forever, alone and miserable and, depressed, unhappy. I would come home and just literally plant myself like in front of the TV. I had no goals, no passion. My job sucked. I hated it. I loathed it. Like I was paper pushing and all that fun stuff, answering phones, getting yelled at all the time. I didn't feel like a wife anymore, honestly. And that killed me. I try not to get emotional. People asked me all the time, oh my God, Cody's working out of town. How do you do it? And I would just, be like, oh, it's fine. It's great. We are totally great, because I didn't want to address it, but I can talk about it a little easier now because it's over with. But in the time being, I couldn't talk about it at all. So, we talked about divorce because we were so unhappy with each other, which is something I also don't share a lot publicly. Just kind of like things like this, team calls and stuff, because I don't want to, badmouth. It wasn't him. It wasn't me. It was both of us. We just weren't happy. He's not a bad guy. We were growing apart. We were not. It was just, God, it was a tough time. And so for me to see Colleen and me to see the Beachbody community, I was drawn to it because I was in such a funk. I was like, that looks happy. Like, I want that. So I literally followed her for a long time before I reached out to her. Then she started, reaching back out to me. We started going back and forth. She asked me, if you could do this, what would you want to do? And I'm like, I want to live with my husband, that's my first, that's what I want. She was like, well, we can do that. And I was just like, yeah, okay. And she's like, we can. So we talked for 1 year. We literally talked for 1 year before I became a coach. So side note, never give up on someone. Seriously, 1 year. Could you imagine if she would have said, oh, Kandace said no. I'm not going to ask her again. Where would I be right now? Not with my husband, not happy, maybe divorced, who knows? So never give up on someone. No just means not right now. So that was my why, when I finally started coaching, because I wanted to live with my husband. But backing up a little bit, when Colleen presented me with the business, you know, because she said, you're already into fitness and health, you like all this stuff, you're kind of coaching, but you're not getting paid. And I'm just like, oh, I can make money doing this? Okay. You know, like money wasn't a huge thing for me, but I was just like, if I can live with my husband, you know, that might be worth it. So I jumped, you know, I kept telling her, I don't have money, I don't have money, I don't have money. But in reality, you know, I was going out, I was partying, I was drinking, buying stupid stuff like purses, shoes, clothes, things I didn't need to kind of like fill that void in my life, because I was like therapeutically shopping, I suppose. But finally, my friend who knew me very well was like, I see your passion for this. I know that you can make this work. Here's the money. Do it. Pay me back when you make it back, because I know you will. And I was just like, oh, like I don't have an excuse anymore. You know, that was it. That was my excuse. So not having that on the table anymore, I was just like, well, like I can't, what am I going to do now? Like I have the money. So I messaged Colleen. I was like, I have the money. Let's go. She was like, all right, let's do it. So I jumped, you know, I did all the trainings. I did everything she told me to do. I didn't have that belief in the beginning in the business, because I just, it's scary. You know, it's new. There's a lot of things coming at you. You're like, what am I doing? How am I supposed to help people? I'm still helping myself. So, it was super hard for me to like present the business opportunity to people, because I felt like I didn't know what I was talking about, you know, and it took me a year to become diamond to actually really start building my tribe and, you know, my group of people. And that's because thankfully to coaching, you know, with doing everything my coach told me, I was able to live with my husband. I quit my full-time job a little prematurely, but he was able to compensate for what I couldn't pay for. I've now fully supplemented my income that I had for my job, my prior state job that I was working at in the town where I was miserable. So I make what I made there. So that's pretty amazing. And then I live with my husband. Like, that's what I wanted, you know, like I was just like, oh my God, like all of this stuff is happening in front of me. I'm like my life is literally changing before my eyes, because I did the simple things that my coach told me to do every single day. I was consistent. I did my, you know, follow-ups, power over three vital behaviors every single day, like no matter what. And it's literally like changed my life. I'm like trying not to get all emotional thinking back to all that, because my, you know, my mind goes back to when I was super unhappy. I feel like I just rushed through all that, but yeah, that's my story. Do you want me to elaborate on anything?
Maybe we could have people ask questions, or maybe if they want to like ask you, because I feel like your story is so inspiring, and a lot of people are chatting that they can relate to you. And like someone said, I don't know if you can see because you're on your phone, but someone said, makes me motivated to keep up on the dream of going full time. Does anyone have a question or maybe something that you want to ask that could help you guys in the long run with, you know, pushing for building your team? Or I don't know, do you have anything to like?
How did you build your business while working full time?
Yeah, good question. Good question.
That is a great question. So my husband was out of town, so I felt like I was, you know, in that sense, you know, fortunate to have the extra time. But even if he would have been in town, I mean, setting business hours, obviously, I woke up in the morning and I posted something before I went to work, just anything like a positive, hey, this is me, you know, happy day. And then on my lunch and breaks at work, I would be on my phone, because I knew that my coach was determined. She told me, you know, if you do all these things, you can achieve this goal. And so I was like, well, that was my focus. So no matter when I had free time, that's what I was doing. I literally used to binge watch Netflix like it was my job. Like I'd get home and watch it for hours. So I canceled all my memberships to everything I was doing, you know, that wasn't productive to growing my business. And I just put that in my mind, like if this doesn't grow my business and push me forward, like it's out. And I was very, very strict the first like year, I'd say, like to like T, because I wanted that like bad, you know. Let me see, what was that question? How did I think it said time management.
Yeah, how did you stay organized with time management when you were working full time? Sometimes I just feel so scattered and feel like I'm not doing a good job of staying organized.
I'm a very in the moment type of person, and I know that not a lot of people are like that, because most people need structure and they need systems and stuff. I stayed organized because I had a planner. Like that was literally my Bible. If it was not in my planner, it did not happen, like for sure, because like I can only remember so many things. So I don't know whom asked that question. If you have a planner and you plan out your days a little bit and you set aside chunks of time that are literally just for your business building activities and the things that move you forward, that's super important. You can, something I didn't do, which I knew which I would have known a long time ago, was post cron, like scheduling things. Because like when I get inspired, I write and I write and I write, and sometimes it's midnight, and like that's totally not a good time to share a post. So if I have all these things like backstocked, even just like little quotes and just post cronning them out, I would definitely recommend that for someone that works full time and has a family and has other things to attend to, because that is so perfect, like perfect. But honestly, with my full-time job though, like I took advantage of every break, every lunch. I was in my car writing things. It's just like I literally fit it in anywhere I could, because I was that determined and dedicated to get out of that miserable job that I would do anything.
Alexa and I
I'm like sitting here like, yes, that was me. Like sometimes it takes, like, it's hard because you got to have like that why. It really is your why. It motivates you. It's like your fuel, your fire. Like I it's so funny because I literally, like, those words you just said, like anything that it took to get out of that job, like that's where I was too. So I can totally relate. And sometimes, like, just like you said, it takes a lot of sacrifice, but you know, I think it's so incredibly worth it. I know you would like agree with me with that. Someone had a really good question though. What was it up here? She said, how did you get over the fear of reaching out to new people to build your business? I know that's something that a lot of coaches struggle with.
You know, to be honest with you, I don't ever think I'll 100% get over the fear. Just like this call, like the whole time I'm like, oh, I'm so sick today, I'm just going to tell him I'm sick. You know what I mean? Like I still have the fear, because I mean, being successful is against everything that society teaches us and tells us. So the fear, they're always there. So I'm totally into this quote right now called just feel the fear. All right. Do it anyways. And then another tip I learned, I can't remember which of my mentors said this, but they said, if you literally speak aloud, like say you want to reach out to that person, you literally say like, okay, I want to reach out to, you know, Alexa today and to present the business opportunities. I think she would rock it. What's the worst that could happen? She's going to say no. She's not going to be mad. And if she is, then block her, whatever. But, you know, like, what's the worst that could happen? And I think about that on the scale of like life or death. Like, it's like very minuscule. Like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yep. Yeah. I said that this past weekend. I say, our baby's going to die if I make this invite, you know? Okay. So it's okay to invite. Like sometimes we just get in our own head. You know what I mean? You just got to do it. Feel the fear. I love that. I love that quote. That's awesome.
I do. I did get in my head a lot. I think something that's helped me with getting out of my head and telling myself those stories that we tell ourselves that are like, oh God, and this is going to happen and this is going to happen and then no one's going to like me. I'm not going to have any friends. And I'm going to fail. My whole team's going to leave, is meditation. Because that teaches you to train your mind when it starts to go crazy on those stories to reel it back in. Like, it's okay to entertain them, but like, don't give them too much energy, because then, you know, where focus goes, energy flows. You can focus on all that, you know, scary, fearful stuff. And also one thing, a quote that I really like is that, like, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but like, is sending that invite like scarier than not attaining your dreams? Like, no, like you always have to think about that. Dream, sending the invite.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I love that.
It's so true. No, and like I can totally relate to like you using any spare time, because when I first started, I was in school, I was a mom, and I was a nanny. And so like I would be on team calls when I was working as a nanny. I'm not going to lie, I would probably respond to messages when I was in class and I was bored and I didn't necessarily need to listen to the teacher, except for math. I suck at math, so I had to pay attention to math. Like, but like breaks, any breaks I had, like I would even get to school early, 15 minutes, just so I could sit in the hall and just answer messages for 15 minutes. Like, I really think utilizing any spare time that you have, like, is so key, especially when you're so busy. So
I absolutely agree. And it's not like it's like that forever. I mean,
yeah,
obviously it can be if you want to like hustle hard, but in the beginning it's so important just to like they have that analogy, I can't remember where it came from, but it's the plane, you know, and you're like going and then you have to take off. Once you take off, you're like, okay, like, you know, you can fly, but you just, that runway, you just have to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So someone else has a really good question. How did you convince other people to join your team, especially when it took so long for you to get over your financial fears? Just asking because most people turn down coaching op with me due to money or not enough time.
I tell them, like, you know, I'm just open. Like, you know, to be honest with you, when my coach asked me to start, I said no for a year. And they're just like, you did? And I'm like, yeah, because number one, I'm a skeptic. And number two, I make excuses. And that's all I've known. And my excuse was money. And I would literally call myself out, not calling them because I know they can relate without them even being like, yeah, that was me. I'll be like, I would buy clothes. I would buy this. I would buy that. I was going on this trip and that trip. Like, it just wasn't a priority. That's let's get real. I mean, when we want something, even if it's money and we want it bad enough, we can make it happen. Like, we really can. Anyone can. Like, people make stuff happen that they want. It's just like, as far as finding my tribe though, I mean, I just literally put myself out there into the world, and I've literally found two like amazing team people that are literally exactly like me.
Yeah.
And it's insane, but like, that's because I'm sharing 100% me. Sometimes I write a post and I'm like, oh, this is weird, I don't know if I should share it. Then I'm like, oh, that means I should definitely share it. And I do. And then those people that are looking for me find me.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that that's honestly something, I mean, I've told Emma when she told me that she was talking with you about, you know, guest speaking on this team call, was that I think you do an amazing job of getting vulnerable and opening up about your story. Like, that's one of the things I've always loved about your posts. I think you're amazing at that. So that, I think that's a question that I think would, a lot of coaches would, you know, be interested in. How did you ever feel like there was like this moment or something that helped you kind of get through that initial fear of like sharing something that was vulnerable, or you know what I
didn't want to post and then you felt like you just had to post it? Like, how do you get over that? Like, I mean, I guess it comes down to the what do you have to gain, what do you have to lose? But for you, what do you think?
Honestly, like, still to this day, there's stuff I don't want to share. And I know that those things, like my seasonal depression, for instance, I didn't want to share that because I was like, I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. And everything I think of, I'm just like, but I could help someone.
Yeah.
So that's kind of in the back of my mind with every single post, is that I know, like, my mission is to find the Kandace before Beachbody, the girl with no self-confidence, the girl with no self-worth, the girl that hated her body, the girl that was unhappy, the girl that was stuck in a job she hated, the girl that was lonely. You know, I could go on and on. But that's my mission, is to find that girl. And then I think about that when I'm writing my posts, like, this post could help someone. Is it worth it for me to keep it all to myself and not share and risk not helping someone? Because I just remember how miserable I was, you guys. Like, it wasn't even funny. Like, I was so miserable that I made everyone around me miserable. My husband was like, ew, you know, like, get away from me. Like, if I could just help one person with my story, like the scary things, I know it's helping way more than that. And people just, you know, sometimes people don't reach out and tell you.
Yeah.
But that's worth it to me. Yeah. I could change a life, you know, potentially. People on my seasonal depression were like, oh my God, I never knew what that was. I suffered from that for how many years before I figured out what the heck it even was?
Yeah.
I just thought I was like crazy, you know, or a jerk.
Okay, so also some people have questions on branding. So Lauren said, your brand is awesome. Any tips on branding?
My brand. I think that like your passion points, I'm not sure if you guys know, like, use the passion point term, where you pick like 5 or so things that are about you, and then you like cycle through posting those things.
Yeah.
I feel like that's super important for your branding. And then also being true to you. Like, never, like, sometimes I've gone to a coach's page and I'll be like, oh, I really like their banner, and I'll make the exact same thing for me, and then I'm like, that doesn't feel right, because it wasn't me. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's super important to like take in what other people are doing, but not try and apply it to you. Like, always be 100% you and what you like and what you're about, and be honest about what you stand for, like what you believe in. I feel like that's super important to voice that, like, because I like what Chalene Johnson says, is like, you have to be so honest about yourself and what you're here for that you almost offend people. That way the wrong people leave and the right people come in. I think that's super important for branding, like, and finding your tribe as well. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a brand expert. I have a business advisor. She's marketing. She's great. She helps me with stuff like that. Like, I'm still learning like a million things a day, but I mean, I feel like that's kind of important for it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Someone also just asked, how do you balance with your partner? Like, I guess, he hates when I share personal things. We're at a point where I blocked him on social media. Oh, that's awesome.
That's funny. Yeah, my husband, you know, he's very personal. His Facebook has like nothing but just like his cars and stuff like that. It's not a, let's see, how did I do that? I guess I was just really open, like really open. Like I almost had to explain in full detail everything that I was doing to him so he understood. And then I had to explain why. Like, this is my story. I need to share it to potentially help people because, you know, and I had to be very clear because in the beginning I was just like, let me do my thing. Don't talk to me. And then he didn't understand why. And so like we would fight because he's like, you're always on your phone and you're always posting this and you're always posting that. And you're telling everyone our business. And I'm just like, leave me alone. So I finally got to the point where I was like, duh, like I'm not communicating. Like he has no idea. He knows I'm doing these things, but he doesn't know the big picture. Yeah. So then I was like, this is our business. I'm building our business. And he's like, oh, you know, he was kind of like, and this is why, like, because I want financial freedom for us. I want to be able to travel. I want to retire you. I want you to be home when we have kids. I don't want to be alone and miserable, you know, all the time. And it just, I literally, like, for guys, I think they really need things in like very simple terms so they can understand. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The business hours is very important for that too, for your spouse, because I was on my phone 24/7. Even when he was home, I didn't mean to. I was just so dedicated. Like my business is my baby. So I was so dedicated to it that I was just like, just leave me alone. But like, obviously, you know, then he felt neglected and sad and I didn't realize it. So, you know, it's kind of like a balancing, you know, tell him this is our time between this and this time we do this. What do you want to do? You know, like put the phone away. I literally have to put it in my purse. It can't be on the table anymore because that doesn't count. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I have to like put it away and then pay attention to him and just let him know like exactly what I'm doing and why. I feel like that's something that people don't realize, that they have to actually really thoroughly communicate it to their partner.
Yeah, because they don't see the vision necessarily right at the beginning. So it's if we don't communicate that, they don't get it. Like there's a disconnect there. You know what I mean? So I love that. I think that that's something that's super important for any couple that's, you know, or anybody that goes all in with this and has a spouse, like bringing them on board and making them a partner in your business. Just like you said, it's our business. Like it's not just you. I love that. Because I think that the sooner that you can like start to get some support from them. I mean, obviously, like Emma and I, you know, have different stories. I know that Eric, you know, her husband was not supportive at the beginning, but my husband was, luckily. And so, but it does really affect you, and it can, like, in big ways. So I love that. I think that that's great advice for sure. Love that.
Yeah. Before I forget too, my husband was not supportive at the end. He told me no, like absolutely not. No, we are not having another bill. We're commuting, you know, I live out of town. We don't have the money. And so I think that was another reason why I waited. He didn't see the vision, like you said, like not at all, not even a little. He thought it was a scam, a fraud. You know, I remember going to breakfast one day and being like, oh my God, I feel this need to do this thing and I need to do it and I need your support. And he was just like, no. And I just started crying, like right there in the restaurant, because I didn't know how to explain to him what I felt in here, but I was like, I am determined to prove him wrong. Of course, he's 100% on board now. 100%. You know, I'm taking him to freaking, where is it, Jamaica in March. Like, he better be 100%.
Yeah.
But it's tough when your partner doesn't see the vision, and it's not their fault. And I used to blame him. I used to get mad and just be like, ugh, like as if I was better than him. And that's not, like, I was where he was once. I have to remember that, you know, like, that was me.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Is there any other questions, you guys? This is great. We're kind of just like drilling you. Sorry, but I mean, this is awesome.
Yeah, I love the Q&A. It helps because I feel like I literally have all these notes about stuff I wanted to write, and I like blew through them in like 2 minutes.
That's cool. I do that too. Good. I ramble. I like it just good. Love it. Any other questions, you guys? Okay, I have a question. I always like to ask this to our guest speakers. And be like national wake up call style, like to like that hill. So can you tell us how Beachbody and coaching has changed your life, you know, since you got started as a coach?
My most favorite thing to address is my mindset. Like my personal development is amazing. I am not the same person I was even last week, but think about me like a year and a half ago, like ew. Like, I don't even know what I was doing. Like, I was so miserable within myself. I was searching for happiness outside. Like, you know, everyone was responsible for my happiness but me. And like the personal development has literally transformed my life. Like my husband can even like tell you like how big of a difference, like we can communicate so much better. I just see things in a different light. That's the biggest thing for me now, like, is how my mind has changed and how I see things and how I'm like determined. Like I've literally never stuck to anything in my life before this. Nothing. I was a quitter, like always, everything, especially if shit got hard. I was like, peace.
Feel you.
Yeah.
Amen. I was the one that was like, oh, I have to cook. No, I'll just go get Taco Bell instead. Like, I feel you. I love it. Anything
A book for inner peace. I just saw that. Let me think. I really like, let me grab it because I don't remember the name. I'm finding it. I have a million books. Okay.
PD.
I really like this book. This one's called You Are Here. I don't know how to pronounce the author. Can you see that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like THICH. I'll send you it. But this one's really good for mindfulness. And mindfulness has helped me have kind of an inner peace. Because like I said before, I get so caught up in telling myself all these crazy stories in my head that I literally could not do anything. I couldn't function. I was scared all the time. No peace for sure. This helps me like be in the moment of whatever I'm doing, whenever I'm doing it, and just like relax and like take it all in. Like when I went to Nashville with everyone, I was just like, you guys, like take a second. We're in Nashville right now. Like, are you taking this in? Like, are you mindful like of what we're doing? Like, this is a great book, literally.
That's awesome. One more question. How did you manage leaving your job prematurely? How did your schedule change when you went full time?
That was weird for me because I was like, I'm never used to being my own boss. So I was just like, what do I do? Colleen's like, she told me, experiment. Use your planner, write out like 3 big tasks that you want to get done, like not huge, but like, one, your big goal that you're working towards, and then 3 things that are going to move you towards, and just kind of like see what works, and then do your workout, still do everything. It was like a trial and error. I wouldn't say there's a one size fits all. I'm just now at, I think, I don't know how long I've even been full-time now, like 5 months maybe, but I'm just now getting into like a morning routine of where I wake up and I like take care of me first. I feel like that's super important when you go full-time, because before, I was waking up, going to a job, taking care of everyone else. I was last on the list. So I feel like for this business, it's super important to, focus on yourself first. So I meditate, I pray, I think about my team and what I want for them. And like, I envision people hitting their goals and, what I can do to help people. And I pray and ask for people that need my guidance to be sent to me. And I literally like open myself up to the possibilities of the universe.
I love it. You got to fill your bucket before you can fill others' buckets, pour into other people. I love that. And I also love the fact that you said that it's taken some trial and error and kind of learning how to be your own boss, because I am 100% on the same page. Like, it's hard. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't go to school to like learn how to be a professional network marketer and be my own boss. So like, it's hard, you know what I mean? And just like you said, sometimes you're going to try things and they don't work for you, and you're going to try another system, and maybe that'll work, and you'll take bits and pieces of things that you liked from one system, and you know what I mean? It really is a process, you know what I mean? And so I love that you shared that. And I think that that's so true. Starting the day, filling your bucket. Like, that is so true, you guys. Like, I always start off with my personal development and my workout. Like, before I do anything, I fill up my bucket first. I think that that's so key. So I love that.
It's true. For example, today, like, I woke up and I did not feel well because I'm like fighting this cold, and like I feel like I'm going to start my period. So I was just like, I'm totally going to listen to my body today. I have a ton of stuff to do, but if I don't take care of me first, I'm not going to feel well for later. So I went back to sleep, and that's totally not like me, but I was listening to my body. I woke up at 1, and that's so late and ew. But I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with this because this doesn't happen all the time, and I wasn't feeling well. I feel 100% now, and I'm gonna go do my workout, eat my food, get ready, look pretty, and crush my call.
Yay! Love it. Awesome. I love that. Do we have any other last minute questions, you guys?
I like Q&As. That's fun.
Yay! Good. I know this is.
Let's go.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. I agree.
Yeah, no, this is
Thank you. I wish I could see everyone. My internet because I'm in like an RV, and the RV park internet just took a dump, so I'm using my phone.
Yeah,
everyone's
your
loving
RV
it though.
Is so cute. Your RV.
Everyone's like, I can relate. They're loving it. Oh, I have one more question. Okay, so you're a success starter, which is awesome. For those coaches that are on the call that don't know what that means, if you're a success starter, that means that you have helped 3 people. Emma was a success starter too. It means you've hit Success Club and helped your 3 people the first 3 months in a row of your business, which is pretty killer. And you get your free ticket to Summit, which is awesome. So, I mean, obviously, as success starters, you gotta obviously kind of get your ball rolling right away, right? You hit Success Club your first month. So do you feel like you have any tips or anything to a new coach who maybe wants to be a success starter, or any coaches that are just pushing to make Success Club important, because you hit it your first month and you've been consistent with it? So any tips on that? I always love to hear new tips from people.
Do you guys use the Power of 3 form?
I don't. No. Maybe share. I don't know what that is.
Let me get it. I have all my stuff over here. So it really helps because it's constantly moving your business forward. I feel like the most important thing for hitting Success Club is making sure that you're constantly connecting with people, because I feel like it's a numbers game. If you're not talking to enough people, you're not hitting Success Club, and I feel like it's a no-brainer. If you're not hitting it, you need to talk to more people, basically. Yeah. In a nutshell, this is our Power of 3 form. I don't know where it originated from. It looks like a lot of stuff, but it's just like a daily, like a Monday column, a Tuesday column, and it's like called the Power of 3 because there's 3 in each column. So each day I add 3 people, I write them down. I connect with 3 people, I write them down, invite 3 people to my challenge group or the business, whatever I feel like. Usually I just always do the business because I think that's more fun now, and it obviously, can change their life more dramatically. I follow up with 3 people, and then the next day I would go back and I would do the same thing over and over. And so I have like weeks and weeks of these. So these are like people I've consistently talked to, and I don't necessarily know them all. I just write them down, and then on the days or anything I'm feeling kind of like I want to do extra, I can go back through all these names and then go back and reconnect with all the people I've added, invite all the people I've already connected with. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like it flows. So that definitely helps. But as far as being a success starter, the thing that helped me the most was believing I was going to hit it no matter what. I was talking to whoever I could. I know that people get discouraged when they're like, oh, I haven't hit it. I hit it in my second month, and then, 3rd, 4th to have the consecutive. But even now, I'm just I'm going to do it no matter what, because if I start getting in that mindset of oh, it's not happening, and then I shoot myself in the foot, before the race has even stopped, I'm not pushing straight to the end, I won't hit it, because it happened to me 1 month, and that was last November, and it was the most devastating month of my life. I think I got Success Club 2, and I was just ugh. It felt so icky. I was I didn't help anyone because I was so consumed with myself instead of helping people. But belief, that you will do it. It's super important. Say, I'm going to do it, because what you speak, you manifest into your life. So if you're it's not happening, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's super important. Mindset is everything.
Yep. I have coaches sometimes who tell me 3 days before the end of the month, I don't know if Success Club's going to happen. And I'm like, what? Okay, it's definitely not going to happen if that's the way that you're thinking. That's just so true.
There's 72 hours. That's so many people you can talk
I know, that is so much time. Come on now. So I love that.
Is.
I love it. And I love how simple. I think that's the thing. Sometimes we overcomplicate it. I think it's so true. Get your vital behaviors done. Make sure you're consistently connecting with people. And if you're not hitting your goals, you're not connecting with enough people. Yeah. Boom. There. End of story. I love that.
It is. We're human, and it's normal for us to tend to overcomplicate everything. I mean, look at nutrition. Look how simple that is, and look how hard we overcomplicate it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the truth.
Hey, do you think that you would share that sheet, the document with me, and so I can share it with the team?
Of course.
Okay, cool.
Yay. This is awesome. Are there any other questions?
Someone said, do you read at night before bed? I typically read in the morning just because I don't know. I like to fill up my cup early. I think adding more personal development at night would be awesome too. I just like to listen to podcasts though, after I've already read. Yeah. I have a hard time sitting down and reading because I'm I want to go everywhere. I have to really make myself sit down and read.
Yeah.
Podcasting and YouTube is amazing.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's something I know I totally took advantage of when I first got started with coaching. First, Lauren, my coach who's on here, she helped me and answered all my questions. And I know that Colleen probably does the same for you, but being resourceful and utilizing the hell out of YouTube and how many resources are there. I mean, that's, yeah. in itself.
Yeah, being resourceful and being coachable are probably the top 2 most important things you can do as being a new coach.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen, sister. I love this.
Well,
is there anything else, you guys? Any other last minute like questions? Anything like
before we stop the recording?
Yeah.
Because these are all really good.
Yes. You just want to make sure. But seriously, thank you, Kandace, for taking the time to chat with us. This was great. I love this. Like,
thank you. I'm super stoked. Thank you guys so much for asking me. Like, someone suggested I write the stuff I want to say on like notes and put them on the side of my computer, and it totally helped keep me in line because I go all over the place.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to grow.
Yeah, of course. No, I was like, actually, when I asked you, I totally didn't think that it would be like weird for you, or not weird, but like something that was like newer. And so I was like, oh, this makes me happy. Like,
because I always say yes, and I fake it till I make it. That's a good, like, I literally have to fake my confidence sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I'm talking about, but, like, I literally have to fake it till I make it because it's just, like, I have so many nerves. Like, if you would have asked me, like, a year ago to talk in front of people, I would have been like, no way.
I know.
No way. And then I've spoken at 2 Super Saturdays. I have 3 other calls based off that 1 Super Saturday lined up. I'm just like, oh, keep them coming because I want to get better. Like, I want to be someone that can stand in front of women and make them feel empowered,
Yeah. And you're not going to do it unless you grow and you just practice and you just
make yourself do it more.
Yeah. Get outside your comfort zone. So that's awesome. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being on. I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks everyone who's watching the